Lower your voices and pay attention. If you have the mental capacity to follow a thread of history that doesn't involve Quidditch or snacks, you have already subscribed. If not, I expect you to be out of my sight by the end of the hour. Like the video now, or face a week's worth of detention cleaning Flubberwell. We all know the tragedy of the sisters Evans. Lily, the golden girl with the wand, and Petunia, the bitter girl with the letter to Dumbledore, begging for a scrap of magic. But what if the letter wasn't a plea? What if it was an acceptance? Today, we explore a timeline where both Evans sisters were witches, and why this double dose of magic would have likely led to a civil war within the halls of Hogwarts itself. Imagine the scene. 1971. The Sorting Hat sits upon the brow of Petunia Evans. It would not have hesitated. Her ambition, her desperate need to prove her superiority, her sharp, judgmental mind. She would have been a Slytherin, and Lily would still be the heart of Gryffindor. The rivalry between the houses is legendary, but a rivalry between sisters, that is a different kind of poison. Petunia would not have been content to sit in Lily's shadow. She would have excelled, driven by a need to out-potions, out-charm, and outmaneuver her perfect sister. Hogwarts would not have been a home for them. It would have been a battlefield of sibling rivalry, with me caught uncomfortably in the crossfire. In the canon of your world, I chose Lily, but in this reality, Petunia would have been my housemate. We would have shared a common room, shared a curriculum, shared the same bitterness. Toward the arrogance of James Potter and his band of miscreants, would Petunia have been the one to keep me from the dark arts? Or would she have been the one to push me further? A magical Petunia would have been a formidable ally, but her disdain for those she deemed beneath her would have rivaled that of the most ancient pureblood families. I suspect she would have looked at the Death Eaters not with horror, but with interest. The tragedy of my life would not have been losing Lily to Potter. It would have been being torn between two sisters who represented the light I wanted and the darkness I deserved. But consider the fallout of the war. If Petunia is a witch, she never marries Vernon Dursley. She never moves to a dull house in Little Whinging. She becomes a player in the wizarding world. Does she join the Order of the Phoenix to protect her sister? Or does her jealousy lead her to the other side? If Lily dies in this timeline, there is no Muggle home for Harry to go to. There is no ancient blood protection at Privet Drive, because Petunia is a magical being. Her home is a magical home, and she is a target. Harry would have been raised in the wizarding world, perhaps by a Petunia who hated him for being Lily's son. Or perhaps by a Petunia who saw him as her ultimate weapon for status. Either way, the boy with the lightning scar would have been a very different and much darker individual. It is a mercy, perhaps, that some are born without magic. For if Petunia Evans had possessed the power she so desperately craved, she might have burned the world down just to see her sister stand in the ashes. But what do you think? Would Petunia have been a hero or a villain? Comment below. If she were a witch, who would she have married? Lucius Malfoy? Or perhaps a young Gilderoy Lockhart? I shall be reading your theories with great skepticism. Subscribe and like the video. or consider yourself banned from the library. Class dismissed.